The Gordon Hayward injury is easily the worst thing that's happened to the Celtics in the 10 years that I've been a fan. There was Rondo's gruesome elbow injury that happened in the 2011 series against Miami that basically killed any chance they had against them. There was losing to the Lakers in Game 7, which was actually my personal worst moment as a Celtics fan, and I'm going to tell you straight up, this is 10 times worse, and it's really bad for the league overall. About an hour or two after the injury happened, I was really debating on whether I wanted to make a video for this because A, I really just didn't even feel like talking about it because it's a really terrible thing, and B, I was wondering if it'd be kind of insensitive, but I guess it's kind of wrong to pretend that there's not basketball implications because we're a little bit past the prayer stage now, and this has a serious implication on the Boston Celtics future and everything they tried to do this summer, so I'm just going to be going over that. First off, when the injury actually happened, I went temporarily insane because I just couldn't believe something this tragic would happen to the Celtics just like 5 minutes into the season opener. This is my 10th year being a Celtics fan, and it's also the most excited I've been for a Celtics season since we had the Big Three, because it's not that I haven't liked the past Celtics teams, it's just that Isaiah Thomas leading a group of defensive players, I kind of knew from the start that wasn't ever going to go anywhere. And although I never believed that we could beat Cleveland this year, and I definitely didn't think we could beat Golden State, it was just cool to have something that I was excited about and excited about growing with, really, because when you looked at it, they had Kyrie Irving, Gordon Hayward, you have Tatum and Brown, who are very young, and their potential is really just through the roof. So what I was looking at and saying is, okay, the Warriors exist and nobody's really going to beat them anytime soon, but at least we have something that we can grow and something that people can believe in. And I don't want to give the vibe that this injury just ended his career or anything, because whenever a break like this happens or a fracture and you see a body part like turned the wrong way from where it should be, we immediately start thinking, are they ever going to play again? And yes, Gordon Hayward is going to play again, just probably not this season. I haven't got the official diagnosis for like the weeks or whatever, but I highly doubt he's going to come back this season. I don't think he really needs to be honest. But even though he'll probably be back healthy and ready to go next year, it's just such a heart-wrenching situation, especially if you're a Celtics fan, because what you're looking at is Danny Ainge really banked on this new roster. He traded Isaiah Thomas, that was the leader of the last Celtics team, traded Jay Crowder, we've got a bunch of new faces in, they brought Kyrie and Hayward in to lead the new project that they were building, and they're stuck with that because those are the investments. Kyrie Irving and Hayward, those are long-term investments, and for him to get hurt in his first game, it's really scary. And I think Charles Barkley summed it up perfectly at halftime because although he spends a lot of time saying a lot of crazy things, sometimes he makes a lot of sense. He wasn't saying that Boston is going to be trash, and I'm glad he didn't because I don't think they're going to be trash either. But he was saying, you know, they're just another team now, and that's true because while they do have potential and they showed they can still play, Gordon Hayward is an all-star player, and he was probably going to be the secondary or even the primary option on offense aside from Kyrie Irving. So now they go from a team that was aspiring to build a championship program to a team that's really just going to be like anybody else, and now since that change has happened and that's the reality, even if it's sad, I'm just going to be looking for a couple of things differently now. First of all, I was already looking for Kyrie Irving to be a leader, but now I'm going to be watching him under a microscope because, you know, sometimes people out there say be careful what you wish for, and while that's a shitty thing to say, that's really come into play here because Kyrie Irving wanted his own team, he wanted to be the leader of his own program, he didn't want to be in LeBron James' shadow anymore, and I feel really bad for him in this situation because I understood that. There was everyone calling him a snake and all this for wanting to be on his own team, and I even made a video saying I didn't think he should be looking for his own squad because it's generally hard for a scoring type point guard to lead his own team, and I acknowledge that. But if you go back and watch that video, because I did make that before I even had a clue he was going to be a Boston Celtic, I was saying let's give him a chance though if this does happen, because I believe even though he's never won anything without LeBron, if you put him with some decent pieces like the Celtics had when Gordon Hayward was there, that maybe he could lead the team to a decent place and farther than a lot of people thought. And this roster is not trash by any means because I'm super excited to see the development of the young guys, and I think he has some pieces to run with, but you could see it on his face tonight. Aside from just the traumatic experience of seeing, you know, your teammate's ankle snap, that's a pretty traumatic thing, you could kind of read that it's like, damn, I just got traded here and I was looking forward to a good season to see how far we could go, and you lose your second best player. Especially if you're Kyrie Irving, who asked for this situation, that's a really tough place to be in, and that's probably going to be hard for him to deal with. But like I just said, that's the second thing I'm going to be looking for is the development in Tatum and Brown now, because now you've gone from a team that's aspiring to build a championship program to a team that is going to be middle of the pack. They're going to be pretty much like everyone else now. They don't really have a chance of beating Cleveland or getting to the NBA Finals or even winning a championship for that matter. So specifically, I'm going to be looking at the development of Tatum and Brown for the season now, because if you go even further back when it looked like we were going to be drafting Markelle Fultz, the whole thing I was always wondering about is if we do draft a rookie and keep him instead of trading him for a star piece, I was wondering how are they going to get the minutes, how are they going to get the touches, and that's one positive thing. If we can find any positives of losing the guy that you just signed, the star that you just signed over the summer, now Tatum and Brown, especially with Morris being out for a little while, those guys are going to get more shots and minutes, and they look pretty good in the first game. I believe Tatum had 14 and 10. So if there's any kind of light in the darkness here, it's that those young guys are definitely going to get more exposure than they would have on a team that was looking to be established and looking to move on as a championship program. Because especially when you're a good rookie, you normally don't get picked by a team that just made the Eastern Conference Finals the year before. So this is kind of good for them. But even with that, this is still the worst thing that's happened to the Celtics in decades, because they have to live with this, and it happened on game 1 of 82 where they were really trying to move forward with this team. You know, Danny Ainge had these draft picks forever that we said he was hoarding, and we got tired of him because he wouldn't move them, and then he finally moves the biggest one for a new star point guard, and then you got Gordon Hayward. So that right there signals that this is a team that we're trying to build with for the future. This is what we're moving forward with. It isn't like this is some older injury prone player that we've been trying for years and now we can just kind of move on or rebuild or whatever. They have to get Hayward back and healthy, and they have to try to move on with this. And the reason that's so bad is because I think a lot of you may have forgotten by now, but Kyrie Irving has an option at the end of his contract of next season. So when we get to the 2018-2019 season, he can jet if he wants to. And with Hayward being gone this season, as far as aspiring to go anywhere far in the playoffs, that's done without Hayward. That's not going to happen. And so when it comes back next year, whatever version of Hayward they get, whether it's all-star Hayward or if it's going to be a Hayward that takes a little bit to get back into his rhythm, because he just did have a pretty gruesome injury, now you have to convince Kyrie Irving in a much shorter time frame that he wants to be a Boston Celtic and that he can win here. I don't want to speculate on how Hayward's injury is going to affect him because it's so early right now. I have no clue how many weeks he's going to be out or what the diagnosis actually is, because I heard fractured ankle and then I heard fractured tibia somewhere too. So I'm waiting on the official diagnosis. So I'm not even going to speculate on whether he's coming back 100%, but I'm just throwing that out there that we still have to convince Kyrie to stay. So this is not a good look. And now what I want to do for the rest of this video is just kind of describe the scene to you as I experienced it, because I'm a Celtics fan, so this was particularly devastating because I just haven't seen anything like this as a Boston fan. So even NBA fans in general were heartbroken. So you could imagine for someone like me who spent all summer being happy about our future, and I'm just going to describe it for you. So coming into today, I was super excited because I'm always happy to watch basketball, and opening night is always a good night. Who cares if there's not parity in the NBA? Basketball is back, and I was definitely happy to see the new Celtics roster. I was really excited to see what Kyrie and Hayward could put together. I wanted to see this new thing between Kyrie and LeBron and how the Cavaliers look. So overall, I was just really happy. And going into the first few minutes, you could tell the Celtics team had confidence. I saw Jaylen Brown take it straight to the rim even though LeBron was right there, so that was good. I saw Kyrie Irving right before the injury in a timeout. He was being a leader, he was very vocal, so I was really happy to see his evolution there. And when the injury happened, honestly, first of all, it's the most gruesome thing I've ever seen live, because the worst thing I'd seen live before this was Rondo's elbow injury, and I never saw Sean Livingston or Bogut or any of those injuries in real time, but this one was so bad and it took me a minute to process what actually happened. So when Hayward first got hit out of midair, I was already scared because I was like, yo, that doesn't look good, and he hit the ground, and I didn't actually see his leg fold under him like that the first time. I just saw his body hit the ground. What I was really scared for was when he was on the ground, I think one of the Celtics got a rebound and they went back up with it and he was still there, and I'm like, yo, you're gonna step on him or you're gonna hurt him or one of you are gonna twist your ankle. That was a real dangerous situation because he was still under the basket. And then he started to lean up, and I heard the commentator say in this really just dark tone, just, oh, his leg is broken, and I got chills when he said it. That's easily the worst moment of me watching basketball for any team, regardless if I was a fan or not. It's the worst thing I've ever seen or heard. And in that second, I definitely went temporarily insane, because aside from just having a player, break his leg, which I thought it was his leg at first, of course I recalled the Paul George injury. Then I was like, damn, we just signed this guy this summer to be our star, and I was thinking about all the things I was looking forward to this year. It all just kind of rushed at once. And the reason I know I went insane is because I never curse in front of my parents, and I'm at home on fall break right now from college, and as soon as it happened, we all got up and my dad is sitting right there, and I just said fuck. I just started yelling fuck so many times, and I never curse in front of them out of respect, but I just kind of lost it at that moment. And seeing the whole arena, the way everything just went super duper silent, I saw Jaylen Brown holding his head and you could see the expression on his face. Everything looked exactly like the night that Paul George broke his leg, and that was just the worst feeling ever because Paul George wasn't even on, he's not a Celtic, he was never a Celtic, and I still felt terrible that night because I didn't actually see that injury happen, but what I saw, I got home from dinner that night, I turned the TV on because I wanted to see the USA scrimmage, and I saw everyone kind of standing around them and their hands around their head, and when I saw the replay I understood it, and watching the reactions in this arena, it felt just like that. And for those minutes that he was down and they were tending to him and they were getting Hayward a stretcher, I sat down, I put my hands on my face, and honestly I was just devastated. I didn't know what to say, didn't know what to think. It was the most devastating feeling I've really felt watching basketball. It was a really terrible moment. And craziest thing about it is I haven't cried in years because the only things I ever cry over is basically things that have happened in my family in the past. But you know, I didn't cry over this one either, but I got close, I'm not gonna lie, because being that it happened to my team, I was sitting there with my hands on my face and I felt my eyes burning. Like I actually wanted to cry, but I didn't. It was just that bad of a moment, man. So yeah, basically after his injury, it killed the game for me until about the third quarter because it really, I think this happened to everybody who was watching the game and who saw the injury live. It really sucked the wind out of opening night, or at least the first half of it, because we were looking forward to the Celtics and Cavs rivalry and all these good things to happen, and you know, basketball is back, and then in the first 5 minutes somebody snaps their ankle and it's gruesome at that. So even if you weren't a Celtics fan, like you could just tell nobody on the court was really feeling it. Everyone was just feeling some type of way. The crowd was a little bit hesitant to cheer the first few times the Cavaliers scored after that, and it was just really weird, and I didn't care about the game at all. I thought the Celtics were dead in the water, so I was especially proud to see that the heart that they put into that game to even get back into it, because after, you remember when Paul George got hurt, that was a scrimmage, so they were able to just call the game because nobody wanted to play basketball after they saw that, and you could tell for the first few minutes nobody wanted to watch or play basketball here too, but they kind of had to because it's an investment when you have that many people watching. And the fact that even became a close game, that they almost won, and that you saw some good things from Brown and Tatum, it was like, you know, you can live with tonight because at least Hayward didn't get hurt and you guys lost by 40, because that's what I expected to happen. So that's really all I have to say about it, because honestly I didn't even want to talk much about this, but I figured like I'm a Celtics fan, people are going to be wondering what does Dom2K think about this. I kind of sort of have to. As far as this season, like I said, I'm just going to be watching for Kyrie, Tatum, and Brown and seeing what happens there, but man, it does look like a mountain to climb because this is the first game out of 82, so man, it's a terrible thing. Anyways, if you guys want to see some more content from me, I'm running my second channel now. I'm finally posting on it. It's called Dom. I'm going to have the link in the description and in the comment section, and you can see it on your screen as well. I'm posting a lot of 2K content there, and it's going to be pretty fun to keep up with. The few people that have actually showed up to that channel have enjoyed it, so if you want to see me do some different things than I do here, make sure to go sub to that channel. Hit like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and leave whatever thoughts you have in the comment section below. Hit the bell next to my name if you want notifications on future videos. I'm Dom2K, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.